Alright guys, I confess, this phone is just one of the best. Yes, I just said that. So let me give you a 2-week rundown with the HTC U11. It's been fantastic, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. Let's go. Alright, so one of the first things people always talk about is the body of a phone and the hardware. And this phone right here is definitely no exception. This is probably one of the most beautiful phones I have in the catalog. And it's just going to be a phone that stands out no matter what. It has this very shiny back, and it comes in multiple colors. The Solar Red is now available at the recording of this video. So you've got Solar Red, you've got the black, and you've got this amazing silver. And then you've got the original color, the other blue one, the sapphire blue. But to me, the Solar Red and the amazing silver are two of the most beautiful colors of them all. They're all really nice. But hardware on this thing is actually really solid. On the back, you've got this 12 megapixel camera. You've got a dual tone LED flash, a little bit of HTC branding there. You've got a microphone here, and this phone does have 4 microphones, so keep that in mind. And you have a microphone next to the front camera, and then you've got a noise cancellation up top, and then you've got your regular microphones down here at the bottom. This is a huge plus. Having a phone with 4 microphones is something that you rarely see on cell phones today, and it's impressive. Hardware-wise, to continue on, they have a ridged power button, and you've got the smooth volume rocker there. On this side, there's nothing but some antenna bands. On the bottom here, you've got the USB Type-C, 1 speaker out, and then you've got a speaker in the earpiece as well. Proximity sensors, you can barely see them on camera, but they are there next to the microphone. A beautiful 16 megapixel camera on the top, and then you've got an SD card slot joined with the SIM card tray. The highlight of this phone, though, has definitely got to be several features, like the 16 megapixel front camera is ultra pixels, so it shoots very high res. But I think the main selling point is the squeeze. You squeeze this phone and you can take a picture, you can do video, you can do whatever you want. I've learned that with the squeeze, if you got a shaky hand like me, it'll give you a second to actually take the photo. So when you squeeze, you won't get the blurry picture that people think you're going to get. Look at the detail on that. So also another thing that people always ask about the squeeze feature, and I've got a full tutorial up on this on my channel already. I'll be sure to link a video down below. But people always ask, if you have a case on it, can you squeeze? So I don't see why a person would think that it can't do this, but you can definitely squeeze with a case. Let's show that shine. So hardware wise, I think this phone is definitely one of the better pieces of hardware that I have in my catalog. Every time I try to use a different phone, it's almost weird. The only phone I can go to pretty much besides this phone is because of the software, and that's where I'm going next. The HTC U Ultra has beautiful software just like this, and it runs smooth just like this with almost a stock feel to it. So when rotating out of this phone while it's charging, I always seem to go to my HTC U Ultra so I can continue that software field. But software on this device has been just a dream to use. It's super smooth, it's fast. In fact, I'm recording with the HTC U Ultra. This phone right here has some of the fastest software you could ever possibly want. Now, if you're a stock person, this should be right at home for you. I actually have a theme on here, and I think the theme store and HTC's themes is actually pretty solid. It's loaded. You just have to get in there and find one that's actually to your liking. Now, I continuously run the Pixel theme, and it's not the Google Pixel thing. It's the old school, like Atari feel like Pixel. That's been very important to me to have a theme on here that's actually usable, and it's got nice icons. And I did change the background here to one of my favorite photos. It's pretty much on all of my devices now, but you know, I think the overall package here, 5.5-inch Quad HD display, 12 megapixel camera, just great. The cameras on this are just ridiculous. There's no getting around it. People have to accept it. It's 4 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 835. The 3000 milliamp hour battery that's in here will surprise you. For those that have this phones, you're getting at least 6 hours of screen on time. You should be possibly for a really heavy user, you might get 5. Don't let the size of this battery fool you. Bigger is better in a lot of cases. However, HTC has optimized this software so well that it just does fantastic, and it's not really a surprise because the HTC U Ultra has great battery life too. People that don't have it seem to think that it won't get good battery life. But I'm telling you from experience, and several other users as well have been using the HTC U Ultra as their daily driver, and now they're switching to the U11 because of size and because of the Snapdragon 835. The design is pretty much the same. You just get some different color options, but it's a little bit more easier on the hand. Now you do get a bigger display with the HTC U Ultra, but some people might not want that. They might be content with just a 5.5 inch. And honestly, having a 5.5 inch display, this is definitely easy on the hand and easy to work with. But I will say that the overall package here with the waterproofing that was added, the size of the phone, this is actually just a beautiful combination. Now, there is a drawback to this device, and it's going to be the 6-minute limit on 4K recording. It's actually like that on the HTC U Ultra as well. I have no clue why it's like that, but it has to be something that there's a reason why. Why isn't it 10 minutes? I don't know. We can't default when it changes to the SD card. We still can't get more than 6 minutes of 4K. So I've just learned to deal with it. So I do videos in 4K, and I'll just collectively put them together. If I do use the HTC U11 or the Ultra, I'll put them together in one file on the Mac and just create the video that I need if I'm doing 4K. This video I decided to do in 1080p because it's probably a little bit lengthier than 6 minutes. Now, performance-wise, this does have the latest Snapdragon in here, and you know, it's gonna perform exactly how you think it's gonna perform. Speedy, fast. It doesn't matter if it only has 4 gigs of RAM. 4 gigs of RAM is a lot of RAM. I mean, when you think about it, 4 gigs is a lot. So I think you won't have a problem with performance. Now, what I will say, some people might think these buttons are a little low. I question that as well too. Again, some decisions that were made about this phone and the U Ultra, the buttons are a little lower than normal. They align with the fingerprint reader, but it's kind of weird that it's not kind of centered up a little bit. But I'm sure there's a reason for this. I have no clue as to why, because the top of the phone is balanced out correctly. It's evenly distributed across the top. But let's talk about sound quality. Sound quality on here has been nothing short of great. I just don't have a complaint about this particular device. So I'm going to go down here and just play a video that I think has some sound. Oh, I've got Bluetooth hooked up. Let's turn off Bluetooth. Now, let's get to the unboxing portion and then we'll sit down and talk about it. When you're watching content on here, I think you'll be plenty happy to know that it's definitely going to be a great media experience. This display with the dual speakers is actually really fantastic. I kid you not. It's like having not a better version of the U Ultra, but just a more compact size in the U Ultra. The screen has a pixel count of 534 pixels per inch, and it is just fantastic when viewing certain content. Now, the speakers on here, I'll admit, they're not the loudest speakers I've ever come across. And, you know, it just seems like you've got this subwoofer at the bottom, you've got this tweeter at the top. And, you know, that's just how it is with these setups nowadays. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just not going to be the loudest. You don't have very big chambers for the sound to come through. So, you know, you can't beat out the Axon 7 in the speaker test with this phone. But this phone does have the dual speaker setup, just like the U Ultra, so it's a great addition to the package. Overall, the last 2 weeks with this phone, and I'll give you more follow-ups later, the last 2 weeks with this phone have been nothing short of amazing. And that's no pun intended. This is just a great package. When this phone first launched, you could grab it for $599 if you had the promo code. And even at $649, this is still a better purchase than several other devices out there. I mean, you're getting all the latest internals that match the other devices. You're just not paying that $900 or $800 or not even $700 premium price tag that a lot of the phones carry today. So this is a quick rundown. It's been 2 weeks with this device. It's been exactly 2 weeks. I didn't even notice, but it's been exactly 14 days with this phone, and I've been nothing but impressed. Now, you know me, I don't use phones while they're charging because I have multiple devices to switch my SIM card to. when I'm going to deal with a dead battery. This phone lasts me for about a day and a half on a charge, and those days I get about 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. And if I push it really hard, I get close to 7 with 24 hours, just like 24 to 22 hours of use. That's actually really solid for this phone, man. I mean, that means that HTC optimized this device very well. So 2 weeks with this thing has been just fantastic. It's my go-to phone. It's my daily driver. It's probably going to stay my daily driver until something really can knock this phone off. Size isn't important to me in some areas. A good camera. I could use this phone to shoot all the videos on my channel with no microphone, no external mic. I'm not using an external mic right now for the HTC U Ultra because these phones have 3D audio. And in 3D audio is this, like if I'm shooting a video and I zoom in, it'll capture in on the, let me just see if I can demo it here. Like if I zoom, you'll see the audio. Let me see if I turned it on over here. So 3D audio, high res audio. So if there was music or something playing right here when I zoomed, you would see a green little thing pop up showing that it's focusing in on the audio right there in front of me. It's really nice. The squeeze feature is something that you think you probably would not use, but trust me, it is definitely a feature that you'll get used to because you can set it for all different kinds. You can set it for a long squeeze. In the advanced settings, you can do multiple squeezes, like a long, hard squeeze, 2 short squeezes. I just have mine set up for the default for the camera because that's what I use the most on this phone, is the beautiful cameras. So with that being said, this is definitely probably the phone to buy right now in 2017. The price is right. It's got all the bells and whistles. It checks all the boxes. So again, the only drawback that I could find is if you're doing a lot of 4K, you'll have multiple clips when you try to put your video together. But most of us do a lot of editing anyway, so that's not going to be a big deal for you. You just got to remember to set that timer for 6 minutes, I guess. That's what I've been doing. If you see a video that's shot in 4K, in most cases I might have used this phone, and if it's longer than 6 minutes, I pieced it together on the Mac, and that's just what it has to be. That's a drawback that I'm willing to deal with because these cameras right now are untouched. They're unmatched. There's no camera out right now that I could think of that I have in my catalog. I don't have the Sony Xperia XZ Premium yet, but I plan on grabbing that one. And I think that might be the phone to rival this camera because the XZ Premium took down the S8 and the S8 Plus. And this phone takes down the S8 and the S8 Plus. So I've got to get some powerhouse cameras in here to match this phone right here. So it's your man Jay Will, 2 weeks with this beautiful monster. I've done a lot of videos on it. I can't go too far into detail with this video, just a quick discussion about how great it is after 2 weeks of use. So with that being said, I'll see you in probably 3 weeks or another 2 weeks to give you a follow-up. It's your man Jay Will. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.